Hi, I'm JK Canepa from Sane Energy Project.
And I'm Margot Spindelman from the No North Brooklyn Pipeline Coalition.
Today, we'll be talking about our utilities and what we can do about their push to raise our rates for ever expanding gas infrastructure and more planet heating carbon emissions. We'll focus on one story playing out in other boroughs and show how it applies to Manhattan and Con Edison. For the past few years, activists and neighbors, families, and small business owners have been fighting British utility National Grid's racist North Brooklyn pipeline, termed by the company as the Metropolitan Reliability Infrastructure, because the word pipeline has become a dirty word. In fact, at a meeting in Community Board 1 in Brooklyn a few years ago, trying to sell the idea of the project to the attendees, National Grid actually said, "This is not a pipeline." In response, the No North Brooklyn Pipeline Coalition was formed. We organized, we started talking to neighbors, then holding rallies, press conferences, petitions, marches, online trainings, and speakouts, and eventually every elected official representing communities along the route of the pipeline spoke out against the project, as well as Eric Adams, Senator Schumer, and Congresswomen Carolyn Maloney and Nydia Velasquez.
Unfortunately, we didn't know about the pipeline until much of it had already been built. Construction started in Brownsville, Brooklyn in 2017, a part of the city with the highest asthma rate in New York, and it wasn't until it had burrowed through Bed-Stuy and into Bushwick that it was recognized as what it is, a fracked gas pipeline. As required by New York State's groundbreaking legislation, the Community Leadership and Climate Protection Act, the CLCPA, the company had to do outreach to disadvantaged communities. Brownsville is a neighborhood where 99% of the residents are people of color, but nobody we've spoken to was approached by National Grid until after much of the pipeline was laid and we shone a spotlight on the company. Sadly, the New York State Public Service Commission approved a rate hike for the part already built with an anemic nod to energy efficiency. It's instructive to look closely here. In the same agreement that raised our rates to pay for the parts of the North Brooklyn pipeline that they'd already built, National Grid was obligated to refer customers who are potential candidates for electrification to Con Ed and PSE&G to determine if the customers are interested in electrification. Considering how many of us are paying National Grid gas bills, the numbers are laughable. Out of 1.6 million of us being charged insane rates for poisonous fossil fuel, National Grid is required this year to refer 160 customers to Con Ed and 260 to PSE&G. But there's more to this infrastructure than the pipeline, and a lawsuit charging the state and National Grid for violating the CLCPA's environmental justice provision has stopped for now the expansion of their facility in Greenpoint. The lawsuit also argues that the last phase of the pipeline, which would run from Williamsburg to Greenpoint, is connected to the additional infrastructure at National Grid's LNG facility, that's liquefied natural gas, and the whole pipeline can't be regulated separately from their whole fossil fuel project. Their facility is located on the banks of Newtown Creek, which is a Superfund site, so polluted that it requires federal remediation. And at the same time, Greenpoint has the largest underground oil spill in the United States, lying underneath people's homes.
We also brought a lawsuit against National Grid and New York City after National Grid started constructing LNG trucking stations to support the expansion of their operations at that facility. There is a municipal ban on the trucking of LNG through city streets after a horrific accident in 1973 in Staten Island when 40 workers lost their lives during a routine cleaning of an LNG storage tank. To turn the gas into a liquid, it requires cooling the gas down to 261 degrees below zero Fahrenheit. That's the temperature on Titan, a moon of Saturn. Imagine the energy needed to do that. Then to vaporize it again or turn it back into gas so that it can flow through pipes, it has to be reheated, another expenditure of energy. And imagine if this LNG traveled through New York City on trucks, over potholes, and through traffic, and a puncture occurred, the vaporizing gas would simultaneously scald, cause frostbite, and asphyxiate anybody too close. First responders couldn't get to the fire in time. It's just too dangerous, and the only fire department equipped for such measures is in Queens, according to retired Fire Department Battalion Chief Ed Power. We are expecting a decision by May 7th on whether the state will allow air permits for 2 new vaporizers to be built on the site, bringing the total up to 8 vaporizers. They tried to sell us on these new vaporizers by talking about their increased efficiency and an accompanying decrease in greenhouse gas emissions. They said the facility's direct greenhouse gas emissions are estimated to decrease by up to 101 metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent per year. What is that? That is the equivalent of taking 21.9 cars per year off the road. Are they charging us millions and millions of dollars per year to build these 2 new vaporizers to increase efficiency? No. They are increasing their capacity to process more gas.
We know they're dirty and will lock us into fossil fuels for decades at a time when we must stop this dangerous industry and turn to renewable energy and efficiency before it's too late. As we speak, Con Ed has also opened up a rate case to increase bills for all its captive ratepayers, both gas and electric, which is fed by oil and gas burning power plants. We need to send a message to all the utilities and the regulatory agencies that these rate hikes will be challenged by more and more of us ratepayers when they push to expand fracked gas infrastructure on our dime. So wherever you live, please sign our petition to the governor and the Department of Environmental Conservation, telling them to say no to the vaporizers, and you can see the link on your screen. We also ask that if you have friends living in National Grid territory, Brooklyn, Staten Island, Southeast Queens, or parts of Long Island, that they join our rate strike. In addition to signing our petition, we're saying no to paying for this madness. We are withholding $66 from our National Grid bill. We refuse to pay to be poisoned. We carry this balance from month to month, hitting them in their pockets. Folks can join the strike by following the link that you should be seeing on your screen right now, nonbkpipeline.org/strike. We have over 500 strikers and urge all the people paying National Grid to make their voices heard.